It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Cage My IQ. Today, I am going to be doing my picks and predictions for UFC Jacksonville. This is going to be taking place this Saturday on ESPN, headlined by a nice featherweight battle between Josh Emmett versus Ilya Topuria. And this is going to be an earlier card, so make sure you get out your bets and predictions early, because this is going to be taking place in the afternoon in Jacksonville instead of later on in the evening and night in Las Vegas, Nevada. Of course, this is Cage My IQ. All I ask for you guys to do is follow us and subscribe to us on social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. Of course, you see down below. Please do us a favor and smash the like button down below. And if you're following us for the first time and you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel down below. You can also go to the comment section and hit the link there, www.youtube.com/c/CageMyIQ, to check out the channel. We put out content every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, we are also part of the Bloodline Entertainment Network. All you got to do to follow the Bloodline Entertainment Network is to go down below, if you're on the YouTube channel for Bloodline Entertainment Network, and smash the subscribe button, or you can just go to www.youtube.com/thebloodlineent. We got everything covered every day in the world of sports and entertainment and animated. We got my MMA show. We got the UW Pod, the Tim King Show. We got Clark Street Wrestling. We got Circle Debate. They're covering the wrestling realm as well as WrestleBread. We got animated coming up soon. We got the director's cut with Graydon. He's doing covering previews and recaps of cinema movies. He's giving his input on different franchises and whatnot. And we got Twitch covered with the gaming with the Bloodline with Devin, the Tribal Chief. He plays Destiny 2 every Wednesday and Friday. And we got JD. We got the Queen of the Bloodline handling everything. On Mondays with Detroit Becomes Human, and on Tuesdays she's got it with Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So definitely check that out. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday nights on Twitch. It's pretty much late night, 10, 11 o'clock. But we got it. You name it, we're doing it. We got more shows coming up every day, but we're on here going live 7 days a week for you guys, the viewers. So definitely smash the like button down below and hit the subscribe button if you're following us on the Bloodline Entertainment Network's YouTube page and you haven't done so already at all. But we got a fun 14-fight card here in the UFC. Before we get to that, I just want to give a shout out to our new merch that we have out with Fighters First. Check it out right here. All you got to do is go to fightersfirst.shop. We got 3 new shirts out now with the new logos. I'll have the link in the bio. So all you got to do is click the link in the bio. And if you want to buy one of the new shirts, check them out. They're great feeling. They're very good fit. And we got the new logo with the swords and the shield. So definitely support the podcast by buying one of our shirts on fightersfirst.shop. I'm going to get started with the first fight on the prelims. We'll run down from 1 to 14. You know how I work. I give you my picks and predictions, and then this is always going to lead up to Thursday and Friday when I release Cage's bet slip that gets released on the Bloodline Entertainment Network's website, which is www.bloodlinenetwork www.blindwrestling.com. So definitely check out it when I release it on Twitter. And we've been killing it the past couple weeks. And I'm doing this all for you guys. So first fight that we have on here is a nice middleweight matchup between Cody Brundage, the minus 125 favorite, versus Rodriguez Dumas, the plus 105 underdog. You got Cody Brundage. He's a wrestler, jiu-jitsu style. He hits for power. And then you got Dumas, who's more of a kickboxing, distance striking fighter who's looking to rack up volume. He gets up close when he needs to step backs. And I'm going with Cody Brundage in this matchup. I think his wrestling is going to be very effective. We've seen Rodriguez be taken down several times. He has a little bit of trouble every now and then with his get-ups. And Cody Brundage should be able to just take him down, control him on the mat, do some ground and pound, look for submissions. And if he doesn't get that first or second round submission, I got him to win this one by decision. I just think that he is the bigger guy. The wrestling part of his game is going to be a problem for Rodriguez Dumas. And if Rodriguez Dumas can't defend a takedown and he can't keep the fight standing up, I don't think there's any way that he has a chance to win this one. But if he can defend the takedown and he keeps the fight a distance, I could see him being very successful with his leg kicks and his switch-up strikes with the jab and the hooks. But I think he has trouble with the takedown defense, and I'm giving this one to Cody Brundage by decision. And at minus 125, that's a very good betting line for you bettors coming in, especially since Dumas is taking this fight on short notice, and Cody Brundage has been training this whole time. So I'm going with Cody Brundage by decision. The next fight on the card, we got a men's flyweight matchup between TAIRA, who's the minus 375 favorite, going up against Kletzen Rodriguez, who's the plus 280 underdog. I am going with TAIRA to win this one by second round submission via guillotine. First, you got Kletzen Rodriguez, who likes to come in and throw combinations. He's very good in space. He has good movement, and he has pretty good leg kicks, and he has power. But then you got TAIRA, who has a tall frame. He has that mixture of a great jiu-jitsu and great kickboxing Muay Thai background. He likes to throw combinations. He mixes up his leg kicks and his opposite hand striking. He usually stuns his opponents, and then he looks to attack with his BJJ. He jumps on top of his opponents, and he has his knack for stunning them, jumping on top, and locking in the guillotine or looking to get the back of his opponents. It kind of reminds me of Mike Malott, but like Asian Mike Malott, where he's very patient. He looks to throw shots when he can. He has power, and then when he stuns him, he runs to the inside and attacks with his grappling. And that's why I see here, as long as he doesn't get popped from the outside when they're getting a feel of each other early on, I think TAIRA is the quicker striker. He has the better grappling, and he should be able to get inside of Rodriguez in the second round and get him to submit via guillotine choke. As long as he can hit him with his strikes, use the length, and stun him. But I think he gets to the grappling in this fight, and he makes Rodriguez tap out in the second round. So I'm going with TAIRA, round 2, sub via guillotine choke. Let's move on to the next fight on the prelims. We got a men's featherweight matchup between Jamal Emmers, the plus 145 underdog, versus Madman Jack Jenkins, minus 175. He had a great debut in the UFC. His fight in Australia against Don Sheamus, he looked very impressive. This is a guy that has really good boxing. He has underrated kickboxing. He looks to get inside, throw combinations. He has a knack for throwing a shot and an attack in the body. He's a guy that's going to attack the body as much as anybody else in the UFC. He's going to throw those uppercuts to the body, and then throw those leg kicks to the side of the stomach. He's trying to slow his opponents down, and one of the ways he does that is attacking the body and then going up to the head. He likes to throw those combinations where he throws the jab to the face and then throws the leg kick to the side. It's very effective. The one crazy thing is he doesn't really knock people out because he looks to throw with 60 to 70% of his power, because he's trying to use more volume over power. He's trying to last all 3 rounds without tiring out. And that's one of the ways he does it, is that he's going up against Jamal Emmers, who's very good distance. He's a tall opponent. He looked very good in his last fight against Adeshav after being out of the game for 2 years. He throws good leg kicks. He has good like a jab. He has good overhand shots. He has good distance game. He's very good when he can mix up his grappling with his striking. When he tries to just stand up and trade with his opponents, that's when he has trouble. And in this fight, I like Jack Jenkins to win by decision. He has great takedown defense. When he does get taken down, his get-ups are one of the best in UFC. He gets up right away. He's always moving. He's always throwing. We saw the one takedown with Don Chambers. He was taken down, and he got back up right away and just started throwing again. This guy is high volume, and his just the mixture of the body shots and the head shots is very effective in fights. So I think he overvolumes Jamal Emmers, and then he gets a decision victory. And I'm more than likely going to play the money line with the minus 175, and I'm going to probably look to play the over 1.5 lines, depending on what it is. But definitely check out Cage's Bet Slip on Thursday night to see what else I have on my bet slip. But let's move on to the next fight. We got a lightweight battle between Trevor Peek, who's the minus 200 favorite, going up against Chepe Mariscal, who's the plus 170 underdog. I'm going with Trevor Peek to win this one by first round knockout. He comes in there throwing everything with power. He's a big muscular guy. He likes to throw every shot with intent to knock his opponent out. He has good hand speed. He has good movement. He has good get-ups. He is good in the clinch. He likes to throw knees in the clinch. And then you got Chepe Mariscal, who's taking this fight on short notice. He has good hands. He has decent grappling. But just like I said before, he's taking this fight on short notice, less than 2 weeks. And Trevor Peek is a guy that, if you don't train him well for him, he's going to knock you out with his power. Everything's with intent. He has the good jab. He has good overhand strike. He has decent leg kicks, and he's always pushing forward. And I just feel like his power and his push and his aggressiveness moving forward is going to be too much for Chepe Mariscal in this one. So I'm getting quick on this one, and I'm picking Trevor Peek by first round knockout. I was very impressed with his last fight in the UFC in the Apex, and I think he's going to have the same result in this one with his hand speed and power. So lock this one in, Trevor Peek first round knockout. Let's move on to the next fight on the card. We got a men's flyweight matchup between Zhalgas Zhumagulov, the minus 175 favorite, going up against Joshua Bam, the plus 150 underdog. I'm hitting the Zhalgas Zhumagulov in this one by decision. He's coming in this one. He has good hands. He hits for power. He aggressively moves forward. He doesn't waste his shots. He's very good volume-wise in the first 2 rounds. He does good in the clinch. He has a wrestling game that he uses from time to time, depending on the opponents. When he gets the fight to the ground, he has good control. He has good top guard with the ground and pound and the elbows to the face. And then he's good when he in the stand-up, when he's pressuring his opponents up against cage. That's one of his favorite things to do. Press him up against cage, throw those knees, throw those elbows, like wear on the gas tank, catch a breather in between shots. And the only knock on him is really he tends to slow down in the 3rd round. And that's why you see with his 1-5 mark in the last 6 fights, he tends to lose a lot of split decisions, because if it's 2-0 or 1-1 in the going into the third round. He tends to slow down a lot in the third round, and he loses it. And the judges look at the overall fight game, and they always tend to go the other way because he always is slow in the third round, and he loses that very important last round, the last thing that your opponents see. And luckily for him, he's going into this fight. He was supposed to fight last week. The fight got canceled, and Joshua Van takes this one on a week's notice. And this is a guy that I could see being pretty good in the future with his striking, his movement, his distance game. He can clinch up if he needs to, but coming into a fight on week's notice, it's going to be hard for him to beat a veteran like Zhalgas Zhumagulov. I think Zhalgas just does enough to clinch up with him, throw more volume in each round, and to take him down several times. So I'm taking Zhalgas Zhumagulov in this one by decision. Just squeaking this one out. He does enough to where it doesn't go to split decision, but he still goes to 3 rounds and he wins the fight 2-1. Let's move on to the next fight on the prelims. We got a women's strawweight matchup between Tabitha Ricci, the -125 favorite, going up against Jillian Robertson, the +100 underdog. This is one of my favorite fights on the card. I'm going Tabitha Ricci to win this one by decision. You got 2 great grapplers here. Jillian Robertson is a world-class BJJ artist. She's been trying to work on her striking, fight in and fight out. She has recently changed camps and has looked good since then. I know it's not an official fight, but on Fury Grappling, she dominated in that one against a former champion, Rose Namajunas, and she made her tap out in less than 2 minutes. So that's something to put your hat on to and to be excited about, is the fact that she dominated against a former champion in the grappling aspect. But we got to see where her striking has evolved lately, because it's always going to be her Achilles heel, is that striking the matchup with her grappling. And then that's why I'm favoring Tabitha Baby Shark Ricci in this matchup, is because she has really good jiu-jitsu. She has a good takedowns from the hip tosses. She has really good power strikes. She throws the jab. She throws the left-right combinations. She's always moving forward. She knows when to take her opponents down and when to strike with them. And if she can keep the fight to her striking out point, she's going to power Jillian Robertson with the volume. She's always going to throw 2 or 3 shots to just the one of Jillian Robertson. And I think she can hold her own in the grappling aspect as well. If she can get the fight down and be on top of Robertson and control her and just avoid those eerie spots where Jillian Robertson can reverse her and get the back of her or get a submission on Ricci, Tabitha Ricci should be really good in this fight and should be able to control the majority of the output in the grappling. So I'm going with Tabitha Ricci to win this one by decision. I do think that there's a chance that she could look for a submission late in the third round, or look for a KO as well, because we've seen Jillian Robertson start to slow down a little bit. But I think she plays it safe in this fight. She hits with the strike, and she looks to stand up. She looks to avoid some of the grappling, and she looks to just overpower Jillian Robertson in the output category. So I'm going Tabitha Ricci at -125 by decision, and I might look to play her in Cage's bet slip as well, depending on the overs and unders that come out on Thursday. Let's move on to the next fight on the card. Once again, if you're tuning in for the first time and you haven't done so already, please smash the like button down below, and please hit the subscribe button so you get to follow every content that we put out each Wednesday at 5 o'clock. And then please hit us up in the comment section. I want to know what your picks and predictions are going to be for UFC Jacksonville this Saturday afternoon. But let's move on to this fight. We got a lightweight battle between Mateusz Rebecki, the -125 favorite, versus Loic Ratchabov, the plus 105 underdog. I'm leaning with Luke Ratchabov to win this one by late knockout. Now you got Matus Rebecki. He has good hand speed. He has good movement. He dominated his last fight with his striking. He has power in his hands. He can swing with the overhand shots. But one reason I'm leaning Ratchabov is he has power as well. He can go all 3 rounds. He doesn't slow down. He might get tired, but his motor is still running. He's still moving. It doesn't seem like he looks like he's tired, but then he doesn't showcase it with how fast he's going. He's still going to move forward. He has great grappling. He's going to look to take down Rebecki, limit what Rebecki can do on the feet with his striking, and it's going to control him on the mat. I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to use the striking, his overhand shots to set up the double leg takedowns that he's going to look to shoot for. He's going to push him up against the cage and then just drag Rebecki down to the mat. And that's where he'll have that big advantage, controlling him on the mat, using the strength to keep him there, control him, throw him when he needs to, move in positions when the ref is looking to stand him up to showcase that he's still attacking. And he's just going to land volume, volume, volume. And you might see Rebecki get up from time to time, but then I think Luke is going to continue to shoot for those takedowns and have success doing so. So with that all said and done, I'm going with Luke Ratchabov to win this one by late finish or decision. I'm leaning 3rd round KO. I think he tires out Rebecki, then he gets him done with elbows on the mat, and then the ref will finish the fight and call it late in the 3rd round. So I'm going with the underdog here, Luke Ratchabov, to win this one by 3rd round crown and pound KO. Time to move on to the next fight. We got a men's welterweight battle between Randy Brown, the minus 250 favorite, versus Wellington Turman, the plus 205 underdog. I'm going with Randy Brown to win this one by KO. We got Wellington Turman moving down from middleweight down to welterweight, so we got to see how he looks with the cut and then see how it does with these guys who are usually faster opponents, but Wellington Turman will usually have the height and weight advantage in most of his fights, just not in this one. But he's usually a good grappler and a good striker with his hands. He has knockout power, but then he's going up against a guy with the tall frame, a big reach, and Randy Brown. Randy Brown has good grappling, but he's known for his distance striking. He knows how to get in and out of the range, throw those leg kicks, throw those overhand shots, and get out of range. He has a good jab. He has good power. And take away his last fight where he got dominated. He's looked very good in the octagon, and I think he can use that range to hit for volume, to get in and out from Wellington Turman. He has better cardio than Turman. To me, he could wind up using a little bit of grappling on the cage so he can hit those elbows in the clinch to the stomach, or with the knees to the clinch to the stomach, and then elbows to the face of Turman. I think he's going to utilize every advantage that he has to get to Turman, and then I think he gets it done in round 2. With a big-time shot. We've seen Turman getting stunned in fights, and I don't think it changes here. I do think that overall the move down to welterweight is going to be a beneficial move for him, but in this fight, I think it's too soon to take up a guy like Randy Brown, and Randy Brown gets the victory by round 2 knockout. Let's move on to the one of the last fights on the prelims. We got a welterweight battle between Neil Magny versus Philippe Rowe. You got Magny, who is the minus 150 favorite, and then you got Philippe Rowe, the plus 120 underdog. I'm going with the underdog here. Philippe Rowe to get it done by knockout round 1. Usually Magny's the guy who is going to have the taller frame. He's going to have the taller, longer reach. But these guys have similar ranges in both categories. This is only the second time that Magny will have that advantage taken away from him. And Magny's going to be a better grappler. He's going to look to keep on the inside of his opponents. He's very good at that within the Muay Thai clinch. He throws knees, throws elbows. He has good hand speed. He has good power. But Phil Bro is going to have the better boxing in this matchup. He's going to have the better movement. He might not have the better striking output, and he might need to work on his cardio. But I do think he has the power and the hands to get the job done. I think he catches Neil Magny halfway in the first round. Magny has been known at times to leave himself open, and we've seen in fights where Rowe has been getting beat, and then all it took was that one shot to knock out his opponents, and I think he gets it done in round one. I think Neil Magny's getting slower. He's losing some of that skill, and he's on the way down where I feel like Phil Burrow's on the way up. I think he every fight he gets better and better, and he has that knockout power with his hand. So I think he catches Neil Magny slipping, and he gets that first round knockout. So I'm going with Phil Burrow by first round knockout. I'm going to bet the plus 120 money line on Rowe on Thursday, and I'm also going to bet him by KO, TKO, or DQ as well as my side bet on this one. I think it's going to be very lucrative come this Saturday, and it's going to be one that I think is going to make us money on Cage's bets. So definitely lock this one in your bets for your picks for this Saturday's UFC Jacksonville. Let's move on to the next fight on the card. One of my favorite matchups. We got a men's middleweight matchup between Brendan Allen, the minus 165 favorite, going up against Bruno Silva, the plus 140 underdog. I'm leaning towards Brendan Allen to win this one by decision. You got Bruno Silva, who has really good Muay Thai. He has good hands. He has good power. He throws good for volume. He's good in the Muay Thai clinch. But then you got Brendan Allen, who has a very good jiu-jitsu, very high-level jiu-jitsu. He showcased his striking from a distance. He has good leg kicks. He has very high-level submission offense. He has showcased that when he mixes his striking with his grappling, that he is untouchable. It's only when he starts to just get into striking battles, that's when he starts to slip and lose in fights. You saw that in the Chris Curtis one. Instead of grappling in that fight, he looked to strike the whole fight, and then that's when he got caught by Chris Curtis. I was very impressed against Andre Muniz, where he would repeatedly was taking down Andre Muniz, doing work on the mat, and then he eventually got the finish late in the third round by submission. And I could see the same thing in this one. And so long as he looks to get on the inside of the striking and then to take down Silva several times, I could see him dominating this matchup, because if they look to stand and trade, that's going to favor Bruno Silva, because I think he has the bigger power and he has the longer hands from a striking standpoint. But if he looks to just duck in and to take down Silva, that's where it's going to be his advantage to take this fight over and to win it. So I lean towards Brendan Allen to win this one by decision. I think his grappling gets it done. I do think there's possibilities for him to win by submission, with Bruno Silva losing 6 fights by submission in his past. But I could see, but I'm leaning towards him to win by decision. And at minus 165, I like the line there as well from a money line standpoint. So keep an eye on that for late in the week. So on this one, Brendan Allen by decision. Let's move on to the next fight on the main card. We got a men's featherweight matchup between David Onama plus 190 versus Gabriel Santos minus 240. I'm leaning towards Gabriel Santos to win this one by decision. You got David Onama, who has power in his hands. He has good striking, good mixture of striking with his leg kicks. He is coming in here with power. But then you got on the other side, you got Gabriel Santos, who has good hands as well, but he has very good wrestling game. We saw, even though he lost to Leroy Murphy, he kept on moving forward. His great cardio. He made Leroy Murphy work, and then he was taking down Murphy several times. And if it wasn't for just those big hands and striking of Leroy Murphy, Gabriel Santos might have had the chance to pull off the upset. Plus, he took that fight on short notice as well. But he comes into this one. One of the weaknesses of David Onama is his gas tank. He puts a lot into the first round. Yeah, with his hands, he throws a lot of volume. And then as the fight goes on, he starts to slow down, and slow down. So if David Onama doesn't get a knockout in round one, I see Gabriel Santos taking over with this grappling, taking David Onama down, and possibly getting a finish in the second or third round by ground and pound. But I'm leaning towards Gabriel Santos to get it done by decision. And it just seems like the type of card that it is, where you got Santos taking down Onama repeatedly. Onama doesn't have the best get-ups in the UFC. I see him controlling Onama on the ground, throwing knees, elbows in the clinch, looking to get the top guard to where he can do the ground and pound and to look for the finish. And then on the feet as well, later in the fight, he's going to have the better movement and cardio. So he's going to be the faster opponent by then. And Onama's going to just look to throw haymakers and look to connect. And I think Santos is a smart fighter to where he can counter that by ducking and throwing shots inside the clinch and then looking to take him down again. So in this matchup, I'm going with Gabriel Santos to win by decision. But there is that chance from a better standpoint. David Onama could get this fight done with early with a first round knockout. I don't see it happening, and I'm leaning towards Gabriel Santos to get the victory in this matchup. Let's move on to the featured bout on this card. We got a men's heavyweight battle between Justin Tafa, the minus 180 favorite, versus Austin Lane, the plus 150 underdog. I lean towards Justin Tafa to get this one done by first round knockout. Austin Lane has good power in his hands. He has good grappling. He has a good overall game. But Justin Tafa is a very powerful opponent. And when he hits you, he knocks your lights out. We've seen him kind of add a little bit to his game. He does good in the clinch. He throws knees in the clinch. He looks to push off and then throw those shots. And the only type of guys they struggle with is guys that can handle his striking and then that can hit with volume from a distance. Jared Van Der had success with him with that and was able to take those shots from Justin Tafa. But of late, with the 3-fight win streak, Justin Tafa has looked great. He's got fights out early. I don't see Austin Lane having the chance to take any of those shots. I see Justin Tafa starting out aggressive, getting right up close to Austin Lane and then just throwing shots to him. I think he's going to lean him into some of his shots with just chances. He's going to mix things up, and I think he gets it done within the first 2 minutes of this fight. So I'm going Justin Tafa by first round knockout. You got the minus 180 mark with the money line, and then I'm going to pepper in the to win by KO, TKO, or DQ as well. And I might even look to see what round one line is as well. I'm looking to take advantage of all the lines that I can because I think Justin Tafa is one of the must-play guys for this week, especially against the opponent making his debut in Austin Lane, coming in on kind of not short notice, but sort of short notice. He didn't have all that time to prepare for Justin Tafa. So I'm going Justin Tafa by first round knockout. Let's move on to the co-main event, and we got a women's flyweight matchup between Amanda Ribas, the minus 175 favorite, versus Macy Barber, the plus 145 underdog. I'm leaning with the favorite here, Amanda Ribas. to win by submission. I think she has the better grappling game here. She has a good mixture of striking power and jiu-jitsu grappling, whereas Maycee Barber, she's good in the clinch, but she's all about fighting from a distance, getting in and out, in and out. We've seen her like being much improved from that losing streak that she was on. She's done a good job of clinching along the cage, then throwing shots from a distance. She has good cardio. She has good movement, but I think she's going to have trouble with the power of Amanda Ribas. Amanda Ribas doesn't have the best cardio, but she knows how to mix her striking with the jiu-jitsu game of hers. She's going to look to throw up close with the distance being diminished. She's going to throw those elbows. She's going to throw the jab. She's going to throw the cross. She's going to mix in the leg kicks to the body and the knees to the stomach, and she's going to look to take down Barber. If she can take down Barber, that's going to vary up the chances of her winning. But if they get into a stand-up game, then it could be a 50-50 battle because Maycee Barber has really good stand-up striking, but Ribas has a better overall game where she can strike and she can clinch. So I'm leaning towards her to win this one. I'm going to go round 3 submission via rear naked choke. I think they go back and forth rounds 1 and 2, and I think Ribas makes a change in her game, and then she's going to look to take down Barber. And when she gets her down, she's going to get to the back of Barber, and she's going to make her submit to the rear naked choke. I think that's her path to victory, is the grappling. Get the fight to the ground and look to move transitions to the right spots to try and get the back of Barber and to choke her out. So at minus 175, I'm leaning the favorite to win this one by round 3 sub via rear naked choke. So I'm on Amanda Ribas in this matchup. Moving on to the main event of the evening. Before we do so, please smash the like button down below and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And please hit us up in the comment section and let me know what you think of my picks and predictions for UFC Jacksonville, and give me who you're going to go with from a betting standpoint on this afternoon card for this Saturday. I want your input on bets and predictions. So I always tend to like to listen to what others have to say and to compare it to my own. So definitely hit me up in the comment section with all of your thoughts and opinions on this UFC Jacksonville card. But now let's lean to the 5-round main event. We got a men's featherweight battle between Josh Emmett, the plus 250 underdog, going up against Ilya Topuria, the minus 335 favorite. I'm going with Ilya Topuria to win this one by round 2 or round 3 finish via KO. You got Josh Emmett, who's coming in here with very good striking. He has that power in his right hand. He tends to stun his opponent once in every fight. He has a span of 5-6 fights where he has at least one knockdown in those fights. I believe it got ended in the fight against Rodriguez, but he also has good grappling up close. He'll go for takedowns if he needs to, and then he has good ground and pound. But the one thing with him is he's a tough news guy. He has good cardio in the first 2 rounds, tends to slow down in round 3. But then he always has that right hand knockout chance in fights that will change the fight if he's losing. But then on the other side, you got Ilya Topuria. He has very quick hands. He has good striking. He has knockout power. He's good in the clinch. He's a dynamic striker. We've seen it in the past 2 fights. He's just dominated his opponents. He was able to land big-time shots on Bryce Mitchell, who was a name looking to move into that top 2, top 3 after dominating his fights. And Ilya Topuria dominated Bryce Mitchell. He damaged him a lot. He threw the leg kick to slow down Mitchell. It didn't allow Mitchell to get to the wrestling game, and he defended the takedowns. He has very good takedown defense. And I see Ilya Topuria slowing down Emmett with the leg kicks, throwing a lot of leg kicks, mixing in the jab and the overhand shot as well. But you're going to see a lot of those leg kicks, and then when he slows down Emmett and has him slowed down, that's when I see him finishing him with that round 3 knockout. I just think that he has the better tools. As long as he avoids that right hand, he should be able to dominate this fight like Rodriguez dominated Emmett in Australia. Emmett is a top 5 fighter, but he has holes in his game that he needs to improve on. He needs to improve on his leg kick defense. He needs to improve on his cardio. And then he needs to start throwing more volume in his fights. He will throw volume, but he needs to have a clear-cut advantage, and he needs to mix in the takedowns. He's become too striking happy in fights to where if he were to mix his takedowns into it, it would make his opponents not be too confident in the stand-up game to battle him because of his right hand. So I'm going with Ilya Topuria to win this one by round 3 finish via knockout. I'm not going to hit the minus 335 mark. I might lean towards one of the overs and unders, depending on what they are, but this is a fight that I'm going to stay away from a Ben standpoint because I think Topuria is going to dominate it, and there's not that much to offer in the lines marks from a money line, KO line, or submission line because it's too high up for my tastes. But I definitely think Ilya Topuria is going to dominate this fight on the feet, and he's going to get the finish in round 3. So I'm hitting Ilya Topuria by round 3 knockout. Now, wrap things up for UFC Jacksonville picks and predictions by yours truly, Cage. As you see down below, this is Cage My IQ. So if you haven't done so already, smash the like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. But if you're tuned in from the Bloodline Entertainment Network's YouTube page, definitely follow all the content that we have on the page. Hit the subscribe button if you're just tuned in, and definitely check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Of course, every day we have all new content coming out. So definitely check us out on Twitter to find out our schedule because we're always posting the schedule out every day so you guys never miss the content. So definitely follow us on Twitter at the Bloodline ENT and see him as well on Instagram. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in for the UFC Jacksonville Picks and Prediction Show by yours truly, Cage. I'll be back next Wednesday at 5 p.m. for my picks and predictions for another UFC fight night. So definitely tune in. Definitely hit us up in the comment section to the right. Let me know what you think of my picks and predictions, and be ready to hit those bets on Thursday and Friday once I put out my Cages bet slip. We're on a hot streak now, so let's continue it. So give us a follow on Twitter and definitely retweet all the bets out because I want to hit everybody because I want to give everybody a piece of the pie with my bets. So check out my bets. Check out my picks and predictions. You can follow me on Tapology at Cage My IQ. My Tapology link is down below as well. And if you're the need to, and if you want to, it's not needed but appreciated. Hit us up on the Cash App. Donate to the Cash App. You can find the link down below in the info section as well. And definitely check out our of course, our merchandise once again at fightersfirst.shop. The link is in the bio as well. But I'll see you guys next week for another edition of Picks and Predictions by Cage My IQ. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Enjoy all the content. And as always, I am Cage, and I'll see you guys next week for another edition of Cage My IQ. Peace.